Hi, team, and welcome to our next podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the second administration. So, the second time that FDR is elected president of the United States for his second term, and how he's going to continue with the New Deal. Looking at the map here, he runs against Republican candidate Alf Landon, and we're going to see that FDR is going to win by an absolute landslide. This is the largest popular vote win since James Monroe, who ran unopposed. So it's pretty funny that that's the only comparison we have. It's basically like Alf Landon didn't even run against FDR. What FDR has done, the changes he's made with unemployment, getting people back to work, his plan with the New Deal, people are into it. They love it. They're seeing change and they're excited about it. So they want him to be president again. That doesn't mean that everybody's on board, but obviously looking at the election, the large majority believes that what FDR is doing is best for the Americans. When FDR comes in during his second administration in 1937, he's going to threaten to pack the court. We're going to go into some detail about the Supreme Court and the pushback the Supreme Court gave FDR with his New Deal. They're actually going to strike down a few of his New Deal programs. So he's going to start threatening to add justices in order to get his way. We'll spend a little time on that. Congress has been a little bit less cooperative than they were first time around. They're worried about all the deficit spending. They're wondering where the money's going to come from in order to kind of make it back. So he is getting a little bit more pushback during his second term than he had during his first term. So FDR is going to start reducing spending because of the deficit that he's created. The economy is going to go down slightly, but not enough for it to be a big hit. One of the major things that's going to come into play during his second administration is going to be the continuation of the WPA, but also the Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938. This is the last breath of the New Deal. It's going to prohibit child labor, set a minimum wage for workers. It's going to give minimum hours for workers. So he's going to make sure that if people are going back to work, it's done the right way. We're not sending people back to work to take advantage of them. So he creates the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. He's also working very hard to get artists back to work. He and the Secretary of Commerce, a very close advisor of his, Harry Hopkins, are working together on an 8.5 million workers deal that's going to cost about $11 billion to get people not only working on fixing our country, but beautifying it. How do we start to memorialize and remember what we experienced during the Great Depression? FDR felt like it was important to put up murals, to have music, to have poetry that would talk about what it was like to live during this time period, the hardships that people experienced. So during the second New Deal and the WPA, he's not only giving people jobs, but he's finding ways to remember what life was like during the Great Depression. Okay. A couple other things that he is going to push forward are going to be the National Labor Relations Act, also known as the Wagner Act. This is going to guarantee workers the ability to organize into trade unions and engage in collective bargaining in the private sector. So people can make sure that they have the right, and if something is wrong, that they can gather, they can strike, they can do whatever is necessary under their union's support. We're going to see the Rural Electrification Administration, which is going to bring electricity into rural America, which is huge. And then farm security. We're going to assist farmers during what's going to be known as the Dust Bowl, these giant blizzards that are going to be going through the Midwest. We're going to see just examples of how the dust that is going to be built up, destroying farms. So FDR is going to be responsible for helping people to recover from that. All right. So we are going to stop here tonight. That's his second administration and his goals. And we'll pick up next time with some court packing. All right. I hope you have a great night.